Greetings YouTube friends, it's Eden. I'm back with another video, and in this particular one I would love to address something that I get all the time, which is making truly natural products. If my product has certain chemical ingredients in it, is it natural? If it has a preservative in it, is it natural? These are questions that I'm getting a lot of, and I think to answer that we have to kind of go a little deeper than just yes or no. So, do you need a preservative? If you're going to create any kind of emulsion, which is a mixture of oil and water, you are going to need a preservative. Basically, when you make an emulsion, it may appear as if it's become one new, completely mixed product that's different from all the ingredients that you put in it. But basically, all it is all the ingredients that you've put into it just mixed really well together. Just imagine, 8 different groups of people, each team wearing a different color. They all go into the stadium and then they totally mix together and blend into one new sort of pattern. And that's basically what an emulsion is. So in those spaces between the water molecules and the oil particles, right? In the little spaces in between things, it doesn't look like there's any space, but really it's like it's all packed together, and as you can see between my hands there's a space, right? So the molecules will have those kind of spaces too, and in those spaces is where bacteria likes to hang out. Okay, and that's where the preservative comes in. It kills any bacteria hanging out in between the spaces. So you can make a product that is natural without a preservative, or with something in it that you think is a preservative but really is not an actual preservative, and you can give it to someone and it can appear as if it's okay, even for several weeks, a month, maybe 2, but eventually you will get mold in that particular product because it is teeming with bacteria. So whenever you send these unpreserved products to a lab, it's usually teeming with bacteria. So if you don't want to use a preservative, then you have to make what I call pristine products, which basically is an oil-based product or a water-based product, and nothing in between, no mixtures of anything. So examples would be you can make an oil blend. So it can be a singular oil, that's just one oil in a bottle, and you sell that, or a blend of carrier oils, say 2 or 3 different oils, and sell that. It can be a blend of carrier oils that's also mixed with essential oils, right? And the essential oils could be there for fragrance, or they could be there for a specific function. And even if you're only putting the essential oils there for fragrance, it doesn't mean that they still won't have a function. So it's good to be aware of what that function is. Make sure it's not conflicting with what you're trying to do. So that's an example. You could just sell aloe vera gel. Just sell aloe vera gel. And even aloe vera gel comes preserved. Something really mild, usually like potassium sorbate, some kind of food grade preservative that we're able to eat and stuff. But or you can do an infused vinegar that doesn't need to be preserved, at least if it's going to be consumed fairly quickly. An infused honey is something that you could do that doesn't need preserving, because honey, raw honey especially, is in itself a preservative. It can last for decades. You can do DIY kits. So for example, you can sell people a kit that has some oil, that has some butter, that has some essential oils, maybe that has some clay, that has some herbs, and and sell them recipe cards with different things they can do to make their own products on the spot with their little DIY kit. that's a nice way of getting around the natural thing. Or you can make simple products like whipped butters. They don't need a preservative. The carrier oils, like I said. You can do masks that are made completely of powder, say rasul clay and a bunch of Ayurvedic herbs like amla powder and bringraj and brahmi and maybe some rosemary powder or something, right? And then people can mix it with water or mix it with aloe or mix it with whatever they want to mix it with at home. So those are ways of sort of getting around the whole natural thing. If you want to do a product line but you don't want to do preservatives. Another way of getting around that is finding the preservatives that are on the market. There are some extracts like radish root ferment filtrate, or radish root extract that are preservatives. Honeysuckle extract is a very gentle preservative, and gluconolactone usually comes mixed with a few other things, but gluconolactone is emerging as something that's a natural preservative, or a much milder one that's approved for organic products. So you can go to the sites in the PDF that I offer when you sign up for my newsletter, and there's a whole bunch of places where you can get those kind of ingredients. So that's one way to go if you do want to create emulsions, but you don't want to use a chemical preservative. You're gonna have to use some kind of preservative, so you can use that, or else don't sell conditioners and shampoos and stuff. Just stay away from it. Another thing you could do is, even when you do that, before you've had it stability tested, you can have expiration dates on your products, because it is a fresh product and it is preserved really mildly. So you want people to be aware that they need to use it within a certain number of months, say 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And that's only if you're using the approved of natural preservatives. If you're using sort of really new exotic ones that haven't fully been tested or tried, and you haven't done stability testing, or you haven't had it sent out for stability testing, I would just only use those, say if you are a hairstylist and you're making stuff for your clients, in your salon, and you're using it up in 2 or 3 days and it's staying in the fridge, in between, start to finish. Yeah, then maybe you could do that. But for selling to the public, I prefer people use sort of milder. I'm not saying use parabens, because people are like, oh, I don't want to use parabens. It's like, no, nobody said parabens here. I'm not saying using parabens. I don't use parabens, and I don't buy products that use parabens. But you could use something milder like phenoxyethanol. A paraben is a 9 or 10 on the skin deep scale, but a phenoxyethanol is going to be a 4. So there are grades and differences in terms of the preservatives. So that's just something to think about. And in order for a product to be natural, people ask, if it has chemicals, is it natural? In order for a product to be considered natural, I believe there's a percentage of natural ingredients that it needs to contain in order to qualify for that. And you can find those percentages in certifying boards like NPA, Natural Products Association. They would be able to give you the appropriate percentage of natural products in order for it to be considered a natural product. So those are things to consider. So yeah, I know you want to be natural, but you're obligated to be safe as well in terms of what you are offering people. So that can kind of help people narrow down what it is they want to do once you decide what it is you're willing to accept in your products. And I have a whole video on how to gauge whether an ingredient is suitable for use in an or is suitable according to your own standards, based on a scientific scale from 0 to 10, the Skin Deep scale, and also seeing if something is EcoCert approved. So I have a whole video on that. You can look for that, and maybe I'll attach it in the description box. Yeah, but that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll talk a little bit more about making natural products.